try to make you sad and cry, but God wants you smiling. Whenever problems you may have, talk with God, He will help you carry on. After the pain, there's always joy, 'cause God is love, you'll never be alone. Oh, God has brought you here in order to relieve all your pain and sorrow. Oh, He's the author of faith from the start to the end of all your torments. And if a still come deceiving night, if the cross waits on your bed, Christ is always by your side. Then what can even try to make you sad and cry? But God wants you smiling. And if it's still come deceiving night, if the cross waits on your bed, Christ is always by your side. Then what can He ever try to make you sad and cry? But God wants you smiling.
Okay, so let's all take a moment for initial prayer tonight. Closing our eyes, relaxing the chair, relaxing our body from all the tension of the day, letting go of any worries, any anxieties, anything that might be around us, inside us, that we don't need any at this moment. We take a full, deep breath to calm our nervous system, to calm our minds, opening up to connect with Jesus, with the good spirits, with our guardian angels, the mentors of the house. We thank you, dear God, for the opportunity that we have to be here tonight, learning a little bit more about this beautiful doctrine, growing, understanding, receiving a little more of Jesus' teachings, and starting to apply that in our daily life. We ask for the protection of the good spirits here with us, all the mentors of the house. We thank you for preparing us to be here, preparing our environment. We ask that Jesus stay with us tonight throughout this study. So it is. Anna, you can share your screen now.
Could you guys see my screen and hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Good night, everyone. I'm happy to have all of you with us this night to talk about this topic that affects so many people in the world. After this song, the song that we just heard was talking about that Jesus is always by our side, always by our side. And sometimes when we are going through dark moments in our life, sometimes we forget that. But Jesus is always by our side, giving us strength to go through our life and learn the lessons that we need to learn. everything happens for a reason in our life. God is a father, and as a father, everything that happens to us has a reason, justification, and a teaching lesson. So tonight we'll be talking about depression, the dark night of the soul. We'll talk about this disease that affects more than 300 million people in the world, and the numbers are increasing every day. I would like to read this slide, and let's think about this. Let's look at this image, these dark feelings, and what does that mean to us? Every one of us has been passed through moments in our life that we look to darkness, or sometimes we try to avoid darkness. So why is there darkness? Why is this happening to me? Dark night of the soul. What should I do with it? Or do you pose the question from fear, anger, and resistance? Sometimes when bad things happen in our life, we also can react with resistance. We can feel the despair and the resistance, expressing the later question, and recognize those emotions within yourself, because it's such a human reaction to resist what feels dark, unwholesome, or difficult. Sometimes we don't look to these dark spots in our life. The deepest challenge to you as a human being is to say yes to situations that you initially refuse to accept, to say yes to what you want to avoid at all costs. It requires great inner strength to say yes to what comes into your life in the form of darkness. If you cannot find that strength, which is understandable, and you say no, you harden in opposition to which happens, and the darkness becomes deeper and the despair increases. So what that means to us, that means that you probably know this in your life, that sometimes when a hard situation comes to our life and we avoid that, or we don't learn the lesson, if we avoid this darkness, sometimes it comes harder. The disease comes harder to teach us what we need to learn. And we can look to depression as that, like a moment that comes to our life, a situation that is coming to teach us something about ourselves. So as I mentioned, more than 300 million people worldwide are suffering with depression, and close to 800,000 people die due to suicide every year. But then we need to ask a question. Is sadness depression? What's the difference between sadness and depression? It's normal to go through sadness in our life. Some life events, if we lose somebody, if something doesn't go as we expected, that's a sadness. Those are moments that we cycle through. And it's enough when something good happens that we come back, we feel happiness again. But what's the difference? Sadness is a normal phenomenon that is part of the psychological life of all of us. Sadness, we can be sad because some negative thing happened in our lives, but this doesn't prevent us from reacting with joy if any pleasant stimulation arises. Sadness does not disable us from going through our natural or routine activities, does not cause morbid solitude and emotional isolation. But when we talk about depression, depression is a pathological state. It's much more than sadness. It's like an emptiness is when you feel empty inside, that you don't see a reason to keep moving, to keep going through life. So it's much deeper. And how can we recognize depression? Well, depression is characterized by this emptiness, this sadness that can last more than 2 weeks. It's when you lose your ability to do regular activities, when that starts impairing your sleep. Maybe you sleep too much or you don't sleep, states of anxiety, isolation, victimization ideas, mono ideas. It's much deeper. It's not sadness, it's just an emptiness. It's something deep in your soul. And Jesus said, I have told you these things so that in me you may find peace. You might have peace. In this world you have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. That means that all these difficult moments that are coming to our life are teaching us a lesson about ourselves and how we can evolve, how can we do better, how can we look to the darkness inside of us and transform ourselves, evolve in order to be a better person and accomplish more in life. So what are the causes of depression? So this is a really broad topic. When we think about causes of depression, it's like a multifactorial topic. So many different causes. But the Spiritist comes to say to us that the causes of depression is the depressed person. What that means, that the cause is inside of ourselves. It's not an external cause. It's caused by us, by our spirits, our spirit, our inner being. And why that? So depression has its root cause in the spirit. The intimate condition of the spirit is what determines or not a state of depression. So this knowledge goes much deeper when we think about depression, because when we think about depression, we will look to a wide array of causes. We can identify environmental causes. We can say, oh, depression there's a genetic component, genetic causes. Or we can look through life situations and identify how these life situations are affecting us. And also immaturity, like how immature we are spiritually or emotionally to deal with situations in our life. Looking through this wider array of causes, I was saying that it has its effects or its root in the spirit, right? If somebody comes to you and say, oh, depression is caused by genetics, but by the Spiritist knowledge, we know that in the moment of fertilization, the spirit participates in the organization of his physical body cells, generating in the body the characteristics that are particular to him. So we know that this life, we participate in planning this life, in choosing our trials. We chose previously what we'll be going through, what we'll be learning. So when we say that depression might be caused by a genetic cause, that's also involved or connected to our spirit, because we chose our body, we chose the characteristics that we want to have in this life. So all these causes are connected to our spirit. When we say environmental causes, we are talking about life situations, we are talking how we deal with emotions, how we deal with how other people treat us, and also about our maturity as a spirit. But when we talk about the big disease as depression, we need to remember that every big evil starts small. Sometimes we don't notice how we get into those situations, or even we don't notice the people around us, our family members. Sometimes it's difficult to recognize how that person became depressed, but we need to remember that every big evil starts small. So depression might start with a little sadness, dissatisfaction, irritability, impatience, discouragement, and close friends and family might not know this. And little by little, we might be lowering our defenses and giving the opportunity to a depression state start inside of our minds, inside of our thoughts. We can get into that, let's say, like that cloud of depression because of little steps that led us to that. And little by little, we might start losing interest, feel like we don't belong here, nothing makes sense. We stop finding happiness and satisfaction in daily activities or activities that used to be pleasure for us. I'd like to make a point here when I say feel that we not belong here. In the Kardec also brings us the concept that depression might be caused, but because we feel that our soul is in a prison inside of our body, and our spirit is trying to escape this prison, escape this state. So that might be also explain this feeling that we don't belong here, and that's written in the gospel. This concept of our spirit feels like trapped in this body, and we might develop a state of depression because of that. Other factors, leading factors: resentment, difficulty in forgiving. If we don't forgive, if we keep feeling this anger inside of us, when we don't forgive, that make us more harm than the person that we actually are having these thoughts. Because when we don't forgive, we are attached to these feelings, we are attached to this anger, we are attached to the bad situations. There are some people that when faced with an offense about the ability to forgive, the group one, the ones who never forgive, those will be many of us that have a hard time to forgive and will be connected in this hatred feeling and despair feeling and a feeling that everything is not fair in our life. Other people might be, I think I missed one slide, it's not here. Okay. Other people might forgive sometimes, and they're just a small group of people that can actually forgive. Why it's so difficult to forgive? Because rancor is the fruit of selfish, herder personalism. So we have so much selfishness inside of us. It's difficult to forgive, to understand the others, our ego, and that might attract a lot of bad feelings, and we be surrounding in energies and connect with other spirits that might be in the same situation, in the same vibration. And Emmanuel comes and says that sincere forgiveness is a natural son of love, is the natural son of love. Forgiveness is a path to release ourselves from what is holding us back, what is holding us to bad feelings, to the past. And forgiveness is an exercise that we need to do every day with everyone surrounding us. Forgiveness is dependent on our capacity to love. Those who still doesn't love, how they will forgive. So we still need to learn how to love as Jesus taught us, to love one another as we love ourselves. But sometimes we don't even love ourselves. We are so hard on ourselves, and because we feel so much guilt and we don't forgive and we're hard on ourselves, that also can open a door to develop a depression state, when the difference between what we want to be and what we are, this disconnection, this hope or some goals that we cannot achieve, this distance in reality might create a state where we can develop a depression. So what are the consequences of not forgiving? Resentment. Resentment is like a destructive force that ends up hurting the one that feeds up. So the more that we do not forgive, we'll feel this resentment, and that's only filling up our body, our soul with bad feelings and neurotransmitters that can actually harm ourselves, lower our immunological defenses, lower our ability to feel happiness, and this can also help or lead to states of sadness, anxiety, and depression. Hate and rancor slave, depress, fill the soul with dark shadows, making it anxious and unhappy. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of life. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? So that also reminds me of that passage of the gospel where we can see a spike in the eye of our neighbor, but we cannot see like a big bar in front of our eyes, right? Everything that we look through depends on the ways that we are seeing, the ways that we're looking at life, the ways that we're looking through the life situations. That there's that story that illustrates, I don't have a picture here, but like a young couple got married and they moved to a new neighborhood. And once a week, the wife will look through the window and see that the neighbor was putting clothes outside, was putting sheets, white sheets, and they don't look white for her. They look like a little dirty. And she would start criticizing the neighbor and saying, wow, she should have more effort in washing up these clothes. She should put more effort. She should do better. And several weeks passed by with the same type of comment from the wife, until one day she looked through the window and she noticed that the clothes were really white. She did a good job, and she looked through to her husband and she said, "Wow, the neighbor did a good job today." And then he said, "No, I actually cleaned the window." So her window was dirty. She was seeing through her dirty window and looking through the neighbor, judging the neighbor. But actually, that was about herself. She was looking through those eyes. So in life, we need to remember that the way that we look through life situations, that it will influence our way of feeling, our way that we react to life, and our feelings. So it's also really important when life feels or looks really dark, that we change our glasses and we try to look with some positivity. We try to look with some hope and doing things better, and with gratitude for the things that we already have. Guilt. Guilt can also cause a lot of problems. And so here, reading here, the moral laws are divine laws that govern the person's relationship with God, with him herself, with her brothers and sisters. So sometimes we feel guilt, or we can also blame God for several situations that happen in our life. For instance, let's say we lose somebody that we love, we might blame God, and until we don't forgive, or until we don't understand that, we cannot get out of that state of mind. And if we feel guilt for things that we have done in the past, we can also be trapped in these feelings, and also develop, be dependent, or not be able to leave this state of mind, do not forgive ourselves. And that can also damage our state of mind and attract our spiritual, let's say, our spiritual enemies that can be in the same symphony, and that might aggravate our state. Guilt. Where are the moral laws written? In our conscience. So everything that we done, that everything that we do that's not according to God's law, we will feel at the right moment in our conscience. Our conscience is always showing us what's right, what is wrong. Our consciousness reflects our innermost self. Mistakes and feeling guilty. When we make a mistake, our conscience alerts us. Pain brings learning, and we begin to suffer. Repentance arises. For suffering to end, sincere reparation through work and the inner reformation are necessary. When we give up, we open doors to self-harm and useless remorse. We lose the educational effect of our suffering and give space for depression to settle. So now we'll be talking a little bit about obsession and depression. So what is obsession? It is the harmful, insistent, dominating action of one spirit on another, So how do we suffer influence of these other spirits over us? Our minds are constantly, through the thoughts, we're constantly emitting waves. And if we are vibrating in a good energy, if we are connecting with God through prayer, to our guardian angels, through prayer and bad thoughts, we are in a good symphony of love and peace and doing good and in the path of evolving. But in a depression case, depression is not always caused by obsession, but like if we enter a depressive state where we give up on our lives, we give up on keep going, we give up and trying to do better every day, we might get into a deep state of mind where we feel sad, anxiety, anger, resentment, all these feelings that we just talked about. And in that state of mind, we might open this door to connect to other spirits that might influence us to keep in this state of mind. So the obsession is this influence of these other spirits that might keep us in that state or even aggravate our state of depression. Consequences of depression. I think we all have been in contact with somebody that is depressed. We start noticing that this person start isolating itself, and when this person isolates itself, this person might be getting into a state where it has like what we call a mono idea. So keep having the same thoughts over and over, and that starts like aggravating their spirit, their state of mind. So as consequences of depression, we'll see that depression will cause a lot of sicknesses, causes anguish and awakens phobias, severely compromises self-esteem. We will see that people that have depression they have a really low self-esteem. They reach kind of a bottom, a place where it's really hard to come back from that. They can affect as a consequence of depression, that can affect professional, social, and affective relationships. So there's a lot of reports showing a large number of divorces when somebody is going through depression, because that can affect all the relationships. And I think it's important to us to understand that the depression is a state of mind, is transitory, and there's cure for depression. And we need to understand that it is a disease, that the person is going through a difficult moment, and we as relatives or parents or friends, we should give support to this person and understand that the person doesn't react not because the person doesn't want to react. It's because the depression is a disease of the will, is a disease of the willpower. So the person lacks the initiative to keep going. And it's important to search for medical health, spiritual health, and treat the person, the body and the soul as a whole in these cases. What other consequences of depression? Suicide is one of them. It's really linked to the depression. And there's an indirect suicide, where death is not deliberately searched. The person gives up and refuses to live her life fully. And also there's a direct suicide, where the one in which the person decides to eliminate his or her own life. In the case of an indirect suicide, is an emotional death due to the absence of moral values and strength to face difficulties. And indirect suicide, the person believes that eliminating physical life will get rid of pain. How the Spiritism can help us in this topic, in the depression, in the suicide topic. Spiritism teaches that the life never ends. It's not through suicide that we end the suffering of this life. Actually, if we don't have the right to terminate our life, and that's written in the Spirit's book. And also, if we terminate our life, the pain will not end. Actually, we'll be facing our body. We will feel the pain. We will get more remorse, and we'll suffer much more for committing this act. So it's really important, this knowledge that the life never ends, to help the persons that are going through these thoughts to reflect on that and be willing to make a change. Somatization, what is this? It's an emotional and spiritual disorders projecting into the physical body, causing psychosomatic diseases. We must help relieve the soul, eliminating the cause and not just taking care of the symptoms. Just the physical treatment will not be enough. That means that in the cases of depression, we need to look for medical treatment, but we also need to look for spiritual treatment. The medical treatment, the drugs, the antidepressants might give us an initial start, giving, let's say, a little energy to start getting out of this state of mind, but we need to look deep in ourselves, the cause, the spiritual cause. Why are we going through this disease? What is this disease trying to teach us? Sometimes means that we need to take another path in our life. Sometimes means that we're going into the wrong direction, that we're just harming ourselves. And the disease comes to make us stop and rethink our values, our paths, and the way to move forward. So the diseases of the soul are manifested through the human body. So that's why we see depression, anxiety, and other types of psychological diseases. Some diseases of the soul are so persistent that the spirit may need successive lives in order to complete his full process of regeneration. Sometimes there's some reports, some stories showing that the person might go through successive lives living through a depression until this person is able to make this change and regenerate and get out of this state. Structure yourself intimately, training yourself to address adversities, not allowing yourself to be affected so much by life situations. I think this is like a nice, important teaching to train ourselves to address adversities, not allowing yourself to be affected so much by life situations. But I think that strength to understand what we are going through, we can achieve that with inner reformation, with the study of the gospel, with the study of Spiritism, with the studies of why we go through trials, our life of trials and expiation, why we're here. I think the Spiritists shed a lot of light in those topics to help us understand and endure life situations. Strive to keep your integral health, that of your physical body, your emotions, and your soul. So, why disease comes to our life? That's a hard question. And it's hard to accept when we first look at that. Like, if every one of us think right now, what was the most difficult moment that we went through until today that we remember? And we think, why that happened to me? Every one of us might understand a little about that. I can talk about myself, like the times that disease happened and hit me hard. Nowadays, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful because that happened to me, because I was going into a wrong path. And only through a disease, only through a depression in that case, make me change the way I think about life, the way I look at life. The disease comes to our life to show what we need to change, to show that we're going through the right path, that we need to, the wrong path, that we need to stop and think about. We will need to leave behind our old self and start building our new selves, the person that we want to be, connected with God, with Jesus' teachings, moral evolvement, being a better person every day, doing good things, being more charitable. Sometimes the disease comes to change our path, to teach us, because God is our Father and God is good, and everything that happens in our life is for a reason. Even this moment right now with the coronavirus that is bringing so much suffering, but also is kind of forcing families to interact more with each other. There's a lot of things that are coming out, people caring about others. And I think there's a lot of things that after this all has passed, that we will evaluate and probably will make to bring a big change in the humanity. As I talked at the beginning, when we feel depressed, we feel this emptiness. And it's really hard to feel emptiness and don't aim for a specific goal to lose the reason to live. But actually, your emptiness is but the preparation for you being filled. And your casting down is but the making ready for lifting you up. So in these moments of depression, when we feel that we hit the bottom, it's the time that we'll start filling up. We will start reborn from this state and open up for better things in life. If we look this figure, it's like how life goes on. We have bad moments, sad moments, happy moments, but life never actually ends. And every moment, the bad moments, they were just a small screenshot in our life journey. We need to remember that the suffering will also pass. All the suffering, these moments of suffering, they will pass. and will succeed towards our spiritual path to become more evolved spirits, light spirits. So we need to embrace the difficult situations and try to see what those difficult situations are teaching us. When we're talking about depression, what we can do for the person that is feeling depressed? We can pray for that person, because this person is feeling like this person is in like a dwell full of darkness. So we can pray. Prayer can change the vibration around this person, might be taking away some of the bad thoughts, and the person might start seeing some light coming through this disease, coming through a way or finding a will. We can be extending our hands, trying to help the person that is going through a depression. But the movement of climbing up that mountain or living that state of mind, living the depression, depends on the person, depends on the person that is going through that. We can give support, we can pray, but the person needs to make that movement. So life is a constant birth. Modify your way of thinking and get out of your comfort zone. Life is everywhere. Resist. Keep going. Try to be away of your bed and couch. It will take a huge effort, but it is a window that only opens from inside out. We are in charge of changing our mental state. So that means that we can, if we're going through a moment of depression in our life, people, our friends, or everyone will try to help us, and we should seek for help. But the movement of climbing that ladder, of climbing that mountain, climbing out, it depends on us. It's a window that only opens from inside out. And in order to open that window, we need to look in that darkness and see what we need to change inside of us. Try to do our inner reformation. Try to leave behind what doesn't fit us anymore. Try to forgive ourselves, forgive others, leave resentment and guilt not to be part of our lives anymore. We need to make a huge moral transformation in order to overcome this depression, overcome these old selves, and become a new version of ourselves. Moving, passing that difficult moment, transforming, and evolving in our spiritual path. We need to take care of our body, our temple. We need to take care of our soul, of our spirit. Try to have good thoughts, pray, and keep our good vibration. How the Spiritist Center can help the person that's going through depression. The gospel with the Jesus teachings can teach us lessons, how to love one another, how to forgive, how to be more understandable with other people. The Spirit Center can help us, the gospel can help us to perform our inner reformation. The magnetized water, the passes, the spiritual treatment. So it's really important if you're going to a depression to look for the Spiritist Center and go through to a spiritual treatment besides the medical treatment. And as a message, anything that costs your peace is too expensive. So we need to take a look inside of us and evaluate what is taking our peace away. Where is our state of mind? What we're thinking about? What our energies are we surrounding? What we're emanating to the universe? Always end the day with a positive thought. No matter how hard today was, tomorrow is full of possibilities. That's what I have for today, and I'll open up for questions and discussions right now. Anna, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Would you
And
like to make a comment?
thank you very much for your speech. Was a great talk about such a terrible disease that is affecting many people around the globe today. It's a message that it's awareness, but it's also a message of hope that um, that we can say that we have a way out, right? Places like these, the spiritist center like this can help anybody or anybody that is suffering from depression. So, um, and spiritism, like I said, it brings us a message of hope, right? A message of the justice of our pain, behind the pain, just justice of God. Everything that there is a meaning, everything there is a reason for that. That's in the future. It's very promising for those who starting to doing the good right now. That's
Exactly. It brings comfort and it's easier to understand and accept what's happening, why we're going through difficult situations, why we're going through the disease or depression, or everything has a reason. We need to have faith in God that we are in a learning process and will be in a better place because of these teachings that are coming to us.
Yeah, this was very enlightening and very important for us to be aware in this moment where, our planet is like so many difficulties and such an awkward and different phase that we're going through, that a lot of people are, we are kind of isolated in a way already, and a lot of people are isolating themselves even further, so this is something that we have to be aware at this time and make sure that we reach out and involve those that present this type of ailment. And I think it's also like I thought it was like very enlightening in the sense that it brings us attention that we carry that inside of us, and that are the importance that we have of treating the spirit, of treating the soul, and bringing this hope that this doctrine gives us, because it always starts inside of us. It always starts with us, like so much in our lives. We have to find the force inside of us and like really educate and grow our awareness inside of us, our spirit. So that was really great, Anna. Thank you. Anyone else would like to say something, comment, talk a little bit?
I just wish that I could have this picture as a poster. Anything that costs my piece is too expensive. It seems to me I pay a high price for things, too high of a price sometimes. This is a beautiful reminder. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a good one.
I wish I would remember that every day.
Yeah, so the poster idea is a good one. Keep it, visual. Keep it at eyesight. Yeah.
And I'm gonna invite, follow this talking. We're gonna have our past treatment. If you know somebody who is depressive, we can always do something uh, through the prayers. So, in the moment of the past treatment, you can think about that person. It's very much known that the, the the emission of magnetic fluid that happens during the prayer, it directly positively affected the ones who are going through depression or sickness. So it's a way of charity. Even though the person is not know doesn't know you are praying for he or she, you still through the prayer you still acting on that person. So that's my suggestion for this for the moment that will follow this talk.
Yeah, setting an intention and sending light to those that are in need at this moment. That's very good.
Yeah. And we will vibrate for everybody, right? We will
Yeah.
vibrate for those who doesn't recognize themselves as depressive. It's our duty, our responsibility to vibrate life, vibrate energy in favor of those who are sick now. It's our duty, right? Okay. Um, so, um, Paula,
Yes.
you can have our past now.
So let's, at this moment, close our eyes, taking a moment for meditation, to calm ourselves inside, to receive the blessings of the passes. Make sure that you have some water with you, a cup of water, or a bottle, a jar that you can drink, that you can share with your family after the passes. This water will be magnetized by the good spirits, it will be blessed, and everything that we need will be put in there. So we begin the passes by breathing slowly, breathing deeply, in order to relax our body, relax our mind, letting go of any worries, any thoughts in this moment. Raising our thoughts to Jesus, tuning in with the good spirits, with the mentors of the house, our guardian angels, putting ourselves in prayer, asking God for the presence of our guardian angel by our side in this moment, asking them to assist our houses, our families, asking the mentors of the house to assist all the homes that are here represented tonight. We ask God that we can receive this blessing, this healing rays of love for any ailments that we might have, be that in our body, our spirit, our mind. So we start now to imagine beautiful, crystal clear water falling over us, full of blessings involving our whole entire body. Beautiful waterfall, the crystalline waters, removing all negative energies around us, any negative thoughts, any negative feelings, penetrating and involving your entire body. Each cell of our body receiving this cleanse, this blessed water. All the organs, all of our centers of force. We feel this water cleaning and restoring our energies, washing away, removing anything that does not belong to us, making us feel lighter, brighter, detaching any negative feelings that might be around us, detaching ourselves from any hurt, any anger, any anxiety, any guilt, any sadness, all the frustrations that we carry from our days. We allow this water to cleanse. We put all the difficulties that we might be passing through right now in the hands of God, in the hands of Jesus. We feel this cleanse. We feel this lightness in this moment. Thank you, dear God. We now feel this beautiful light right above ourselves. Imagine a beautiful, bright, golden, healing sun above your head, and the healing rays of light coming down, penetrating your head, restoring your whole being, re-energizing us, the physical body, our mind, our spirit. Visualize this light penetrating your head and your body start to lighten up from the top of your head all the way to the bottom of your feet. This light going through your whole being, involving your heart, involving your mind, your physical body, your spiritual body, your mental body. You visualize the team of spiritual doctors around you, inside your house, the team of good spirits involving your family. Imagine a big bubble of light involving, surrounding your house, surround yourself in this moment. We receive this light that provides us so many beneficial energies that strengthen us. We breathe in this light, we breathe in all the good energies and the blessings that are being poured down on us right now. Right now, I want to invite us to vibrate and send this light and this well-being to all those in our planet that are suffering, that are going through difficult moments, that might be losing hope. We send them hope, we send them light, we send them love in this moment, involving every single heart, every single soul, in this beautiful blessing, this beautiful healing light of love. We thank all the good spirits, we thank Jesus. We thank God for the opportunity to be here tonight, for so many good lessons, for this beautiful speech that we just heard, bringing us awareness, bringing us understanding of our role here as a spirit. Thank you, dear God. Thank you, Jesus, for being with us. Involve every single house here represented. Stay with us, dear Jesus, throughout this night, throughout our week. So it is. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.
Thank you.